Dude, I think one of the biggest, highly anticipated truck reveals is just 2 days away.
Yes, and I think that has something to do with Toyota.
Does it have anything to do with the new 2022 Tundra image behind me?
You mean the one right behind you and the one we have a million notes about?
Yes.
It could have something to do with that.
Yes. So in this video, guys, what we want to do is actually share everything we know about this truck now. We're still before the world debut.
Right.
So we cannot share everything. But what we can do is actually tell you what's coming because it's very exciting. It's several days away. We can taste it.
It's right there, just at the, just out of reach. But on top of that, while we're doing that, we're going to tell you a little bit about the history and some of the relevance of what's coming out.
Yeah, so I'm actually, what you can see behind me and on the screen is several teasers that Toyota has done over the last few months. And they've dropped quite a lot, actually. Images of the powertrain, images of exterior, interior, some features, suspension, underneath the truck. So we'll tell you everything we know so far. And also tell you that on Sunday, September 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we're in Colorado, we're going to launch our first video with this new truck, which is going to be on TFL Off-Road. And then on Monday morning, we'll follow up with a 1-2 punch that I'll tell you later.
It is killer having a Bronco with a removable soft top, but you can't enjoy the wind in your hair without hair. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're only 35. And the best way to keep your hair healthy is to treat it before you lose it. In the past, you had to go visit a doctor in order to get hair loss products. With Keeps, you can visit a licensed doctor online to figure out the best hair loss plan to fit your needs, then get your order shipped directly to your front door. A single order lasts you 3 months and it's not very expensive to buy. There's hundreds of thousands of guys out there using Keeps and the reviews speak for themselves. If you do want to keep your hair, visit keeps.com/TFL truck or click the link in the description below for 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/TFL truck. Don't let yourself go bald. Save your mane.
Okay. Why is the Tundra such a big deal? Why is this truck, which doesn't sell anywhere near and hasn't sold anywhere near the F-150 or the Silverado or the Ram even? I mean, it's not quite there. But why is this such a big deal?
Well, because it's been about 14 years since the last major redo on the Tundra. 14 years. It's been a long time. Yes, they've updated the face of it a couple times.
And some other stuff too.
But the chassis itself, the powertrains remain mostly the same. And it's kind of typical for a Toyota truck, right?
Yeah.
But the world is getting more competitive, hyper competitive.
Right.
And Toyota needs to step up in a big way to get maybe more sales, like you said.
Well, right now, Toyota does lead sales when it comes to mid-size trucks, but when it comes to full-size trucks, they have been trying, but they've been sort of out there, along with, say, the Nissan Titan, although they outsell the Nissan Titan handily. The Toyota Tundra is considered by many to be one of the most reliable, rugged trucks you can buy, and that's one of the things they've absolutely stapled to their reputation. There's even videos out there on people who have over 1 million miles on basically the current platform of the Tundra and also older ones.
So the biggest question is, can they continue?
That's
Can
right.
they update the entire truck, which I think they are doing and maybe should be doing, but maintaining that reliability? That I do not know. And we may not know for months and months and months because we have to test these trucks, drive them, tow with them. This is what it will look like. This is an official image from Toyota.
That's a TRD Pro,
This
right?
is the TRD Pro. They already said that TRD Pro is coming. And it has marker lights. It has additional off-road lights. It looks, well, what do you think about the looks?
I don't dislike it. There are a lot of people out there who don't like it. If you saw the movie Batman with the character Bane, the face mask that Bane has looks a lot like that one, I think. I don't think it's a bad thing. He's kind of a badass character. So I think that the truck does have a mean-looking demeanor. I don't think it looks like a Toyota. Honestly, I think it looks like some other truck with a Toyota name on it. But I don't think it's ugly. Also, this is the TRD Pro trim, so I am curious to see it in other trims and whether or not it's as attractive. Usually the 4x4 trims in most of these trucks is the best looking of the trims. So I am curious to see where they went with this one.
Yeah, and this is the only official image we have from the exterior.
Right.
We have many spy images. And
Lots of leaks, too.
Toyota has been testing for years. I think you and I were sitting in a studio 2.5 years ago talking about the Toyota Tundra prototype.
At least 2.5 years ago.
Probably more.
Yeah.
So they've done, obviously, a lot of testing, and they showed this image.
Right.
This is underneath the hood. It says iForce Max on it. And there's a couple things going on with this image. First of all, the iForce name is not new.
No, the iForce name came out in around, it was developed in 1999, basically 2000 model with their early iForce V8s. And that powertrain name has been around for a long time now. We're talking 2 decades.
Until now, yeah. So basically, you're talking about the first generation Tundra, right? Before that, there was also a T100, right?
That's right. T100 had a 1992 to 1998 run. That was just a V6 and a 4-cylinder and a much smaller truck, but it was sort of the grandfather that led up to the Tundra. But what's kind of an interesting little tidbit about all of these trucks and how they've evolved, this newest truck looks physically like it's massive, but I'm willing to bet that its carbon footprint at the very least is going to be rather minimal.
Well, and the reason for this is that we have lots of rumors.
Rumors.
So iForce Max, the letters MAX right here in this image are outlined in blue. And many outlets out there, including us, has said that their blue font means some sort of electrification.
Yeah, hybrid.
In Toyota speak.
Right.
Specifically a hybrid. There's also at the top of this image, there's a very faint orange color, which could be a high voltage cable. Right?
All hybrid vehicles, all electrified vehicles, I should say, have those orange cables. And the whole purpose of coloring them orange is for safety because there's a lot of current, a deadly current that's running through them. And it certainly looks like there's a little tiny bit of orange, and that was deliberately thrown in there just to make us ponder.
So, and most likely it's a twin-turbo V6. Why do we say this? Because also the Land Cruiser 300 series is out in the rest of the world, not in the US. They've shown their twin-turbo V6. It's a 3.5 liter.
Right.
It's very familiar to another truck, an F-150, namely.
Yep.
Same displacement, twin turbos. How much power will Tundra make? We don't know. How much efficiency will it get? We don't know. What kind of torque? Once again, we don't know.
But what we do know is what the benchmark is. And right now, if that indeed is a hybrid powertrain, the benchmark is, well, the truck that he owns, Ford F-150 hybrid, which is extremely efficient and has a ton of power. And we're assuming, in some cases, that they're going to at least try to match, if not better, some of those numbers. Am I correct?
I would say they would have to be competitive.
To be competitive,
yes.
And to put it on paper and say best in class, this, that, and the other. Now, if you recall, with the prior generation Toyota Tundra, when they introduced it, which is basically the one that you're looking at now, just with slightly different front end, looks, they had a whole bunch of stuff talking about its big, massive disc brakes. They showed it towing a space shuttle. They had it going up this giant corkscrew. A lot of stuff to talk about best in class. They were very serious about it. So I'm assuming that that's what they're going to do again with this newest version.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So maybe they might be talking about like best in class payload or best in class towing. Best in class fuel efficiency, maybe, right?
Right.
So we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds. Here's the next image they published. This is another teaser. Now we're moving inside the truck. We can see several things. For example, what looks like maybe a rear camera mirror. Most trucks in the segment now offer it, including other Toyota vehicles, right?
Right.
Also, we see what looks to be kind of a large screen in the center.
Yeah, now we know that Toyota is working on revising a lot of their interior components. They've fallen behind in the past, including Lexus, by the way, with tech, in just simply put. So one of the things that they've talked about in the past, they've actually said it, is that they are updating and making their vehicles much more high tech. And this may be an example of it.
Yeah, we don't know exactly. Some sources say that screen may be 12.3 inches.
Yeah.
We'll have to, come back on Sunday, the September 19th. You will know more specifications.
So when you guys are watching that football game, and I know you will be.
You won't be watching the football game.
You'll be watching this.
You'll be a TFL Off-Road channel on YouTube.
Yeah, so just take a little pause when you're getting the chips. and watch this.
And you will also probably be at tfltruck.com also. And you might also be on tfloffroad.com.
So we've got TFL Truck and TFL Off-Road, and
Yes. And our channels and websites.
that's incredible.
And on Monday, you might actually have a podcast that's involving this, but not with Nathan and I, not Roman and I, not Roman and Nathan, but with the chief engineer of Tundra.
So somebody knows more than they're letting on. Let's move on to what we're looking at right now, which is a giant panoramic sunroof.
Yes, so that's also something you have to do probably to compete.
Yeah.
Right now, Ram offers panoramic sunroof.
And so does Ford.
Ford, and even the Titan is coming out with a bigger panoramic sunroof.
Right.
So now Toyota is doing it too. They're also maintaining that little up and down full rear glass, which is unique to Tundra.
That is one of my favorite things with Tundra. By the way, one time I was in a Tundra that had that glass fully dropped down, and we were able to carry long lumber. It was really cool.
Yeah, you can do that. You can communicate, like, let's say you're backing down a boat ramp, you can talk to people behind you.
Or you can open up all the windows and have an almost convertible experience, which I
Yeah.
think is cool.
Absolutely. This is the next image they showed. So now we're getting a little bit more detail inside the interior. This is what appears to be a center console. It appears to be maybe near the shifter area between the driver and the passenger. This is a knob that has a tow haul mode, crawl mode, MTS, which is in Toyota language means multi-terrain system. And something else we don't see because these fingers are covering things.
Right, but if you look at north of the fingers, or at that screen, you can clearly see what looks like the backside of a shifting boot for what I think is the automatic transmission lever. Which, if that is the case, I'm thrilled because I don't like knobs and buttons, and I think that could be very cool.
Yeah, it looks like a boot. Absolutely. And also there's a little 2H. So I'm assuming that means too high.
Yeah.
So there's probably going to be another switch for 2 high, 4 high.
then
We don't
4
know
low.
what else. 4 low for sure.
Yeah.
Because they have to.
Yeah.
But is it automatic modes?
Yeah,
Full
there's
drive autos? I'm not sure.
There's a big question mark about that because some offer it and some don't. So it'd be interesting to see.
So tow haul mode, obvious, right? That makes sense
Yep.
for a full-size truck. Crawl control, pretty nice. It's probably trying to use a lot of the Land Cruiser technology, right?
I would imagine so.
And then, of course, MTS, a multi-terrain system, which allows you to change modes, like off-road, different driving modes.
Yeah, like mud and ruts,
Yeah,
and then
sand
snow,
and moguls
yeah.
and stuff like that. So that's pretty standard for Toyota Tacomas. So I'm sure, it'll be kind of similar here.
Yeah, I would imagine with a lot more electronic gizmo, additions,
And tech, yeah.
tech and all that stuff. So we'll see about that. This is just a guess.
So
look at
this, a wireless phone charger, which is pretty nice and also competitive. Of course, this came out a while ago. It showed 919, and everybody started reading into it. And they said, oh my God, they showed an image of a Tundra in Moab and a Tacoma in Moab. And 919 means September 19th. Well, it is.
It is. So you read into that, right?
Yeah, so whoever you guys were who actually saw meaning in the numbers, it's true. 9/19, September 19th is a true date where the truck launches.
I got somebody who sent me a text, on Twitter saying that was the amount of torque it was going to put out.
9/19.
Yeah.
Well,
no. That's a lot.
Well, it might still. Who
It
knows?
could. We could be wrong. But there is something about the positioning of that. That looks like it's going on the passenger side of the compartment, where once again, next to the shift lever, you can still see the
Which
boot
is
over there.
you can almost see it, but not really.
It's just out of view. So it's interesting. It would be over the left knee of the passenger. But we're talking about a really big truck, so I'm pretty sure it won't encumber space. That's a guess.
The next thing was this nice, appears to be nice materials, TRD Pro logo, of course. And what do you think about this red leather?
I'm not thrilled about the red leather, to be honest with you. They've done that on a lot of other TRD things out there with the red. But it's okay there. But the leather, there is one thing though. Look at the seats. You can clearly see the perforated leather is hollow in some places. So that indicates that it's most likely going to be heated and cooled, or at least
Ventilated seats, yeah.
Exactly. So that seems like a pretty good guess based on what I'm looking at here. So the next picture that you're showing more TRD stuff, though.
Yeah, and now, so that was kind of a lot of, kind of passenger consumer information.
Right.
But now they're also showed underneath the truck, which is kind of where, we are because we're, enthusiasts. We want to see exactly what's
For
underneath.
off-roading, you absolutely need some of these components, including, big surprise, big bash plate up front.
Yeah, so skid plate is still there. It says TRD. There's a giant, what appears to be, we call it sway bar, anti-sway bar, stabilizer bar. It has many names, but basically it's for maintaining kind of, more level stature of the truck while cornering.
That's right. It kind of pulls you in, so to speak, to prevent you from over-flexing when you're going through turns. However, that same thing in some cases.
Yeah, how's it going to work off-road? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. It may be built to drop down a little bit. Now, in some cases, there are trucks out there where you hit a button and you can actually disconnect that sway bar. So it's interesting to see what they have there. It'll be even more interesting to see how it goes off-road.
Yeah, and you can see kind of part of the radiator and kind of air conditioning condenser.
Yeah, there's like a really big gap between that and the actual front bumper.
Yeah, and a lot of trucks are doing this. Like, look at the Tacoma. And I think it has to do with either, aerodynamics, also pedestrian safety.
I think it might be crash safety.
Yeah, crash safety and other elements. And then they also showed this. This is another look at the front suspension and the front, basically, drive axle.
So those are Fox shocks.
Yes, Fox shocks. We can kind of see it says TRD Pro, so Toyota's working with Fox once again. So that's no secret anymore. And obviously, it's independent front suspension, and you can you can kind of see part of the frame as well on this side.
All right, what else is there?
So we're going to the rear end, and they have confirmed.
Oh, there's something huge that you see here.
They have confirmed with this image that it's a coil rear spring, no leaves. So it's most likely a multi-link, maybe even a 5-link.
I think it's a 5-link
rear system. So Ram's been doing this for many years, actually.
And they're lauded for it because their trucks, even back in the day with the steel springs, handled better, on the street at least, than leaf spring trucks.
Yeah, so that's... But now the Raptor is switching to it. The TRX has a similar kind of setup.
Right.
We're not talking identical suspensions. We're talking about the coil rear suspension.
Yeah, the idea of going to a coil, I mean, back in the day it was unheard of to do that to Jeeps. Now all Jeeps have coil spring suspension.
And now more trucks are doing it.
Right.
You can also see the Fox shocks with a remote reservoir. You can see a skid plate. And you can also see part of the exhaust pipe leaving, actually going to the driver's side on the left and the fuel tank on the right. So very unique, unusual orientation, I would say.
Yeah, it looks a lot different than the underside of the old Tundra, I'll tell you that.
So, and also we can see underneath the bed, you can kind of see some of the ribs and these basically those horizontal lines. It looks to be so sharp that I would bet it's some sort of a composite. It does not look like steel. It does not look like an aluminum. And that's what we actually said before.
Now, if I recall, the Tacoma currently has a composite bed, and they've had it for a while.
And they've had it for a long time.
And they swear by it. It is a bit heavy, but it's also extraordinarily strong and very difficult to break. That's what I hear. So maybe they went to a composite bed.
So we'll learn more very, very soon. And then they have a couple more coming soons. But what really is coming soon is our coverage of this truck.
That's right.
It's very, very important. So like I said, on TFL Off-Road Channel, on Sunday, the 19th of September, at 7 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll have a look at one of the trucks in person for you. Then the next morning at about 4 a.m., approximately Mountain Time, between 4 and 5 a.m., we'll have on Truck Channel a deeper dive into this truck with a lot of different information. And also at the same time, podcast, TFL Talk. Check it out because the chief engineer is going to lay down what he thinks and what he, why he designed the truck this way.
So you are going to get a ton of Tundra in the very near future.
You said a ton of Tundra?
I did. I was waiting for that. I've been holding that for a while. And check it out, guys. I know you have a lot of questions, and the best way to get answers is to tune in on the 19th. We got a lot of stuff for you.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting on it. We're dying to tell you more.
Yeah, and also we usually do a live show on Monday the 20th, every Monday.
Yeah.
So come back. I'm sure we'll have some more nuggets to drop right there on our live show as well.
You heard it here first, guys. So please tune in. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Can't wait to see what Tundra has to offer. I'm sure you guys feel the same way.
Coming up very soon on TFL Truck, our brand new video series for a few bucks less. Check it out.
What is that? Envelope. N's for you, T's for you, and A's for you. Sweet. We're calling this new series for a few bucks less.
This is $2,500 bucks.
Exactly. Look at it. It's a B4000.
Were you living in here for a while?
Look at it! It's a 1965 Peugeot 404.
And the transmission is still there.
Aha! I thought you bought a Peugeot.
Taking that aside, everything pretty much works. Oh, I got him at the line.
Come on! That's gonna be the slowest race ever done at this IMI track.
But here's what I found in my truck.
You found that?
It's a bat.
They're still leaking.
It's a little tiny bit of oil.
Nathan, how do you feel against the mighty V8 right now?
So guys, the question now is, for a few bucks less, did you get a little less or a lot less? And there's only one way to figure that out.